I mean, even Brandon, when we're in my house, he walks in, he's like, your grandma's here. And I have confirmation. I take a moment and give my thanks and gratitude. But it's nice to just kind of have that validation. And so the hearing for me, I'm very much a logical person. As much as this is a non-logical thing, I'm also a logical person and very analytical. And so it's being able to build those pieces to formulate the overall experience for me to ensure that what I actually feel is validated, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Hi, I'm Ruth Barclay, and this is Taste Your Magic, the YouTube show. We do a lot to help people in their gifts and their life and their businesses all start to work together and flourish. And today we are doing readings, and readings can consist of talking to animals, to past loved ones, to anything going on with their life, their gifts, questions, incidences, and we are really excited today because we got Kathy on with us. And Kathy, do you want to share anything about you and kind of your business, what's going on that way?
Yeah, so I'm a first-time entrepreneur. My background's in finance and in tech, and I've decided to follow my passion. I'm really good at building operational processes, and what I've done is built this business called Couture Code. Couture Code is really meant to use AI, and agentic AI in particular, in a way where you can actually take a picture of yourself, immerse yourself in a virtual dressing room, and then you swipe to see AI-styled options. So basically, the crux of it is AI styling so that you can see clothes on you before you purchase. We use a lot of technologies to do that so that it flows and sways and moves with you as it would in real life. It also does wardrobe management. So say you want to actually style something specific from your wardrobe, you just take a picture of it, plug it in, and then it will style around it. So there will be innovative lookbooks and a way to have a fully cohesive shopping experience. And it's meant to be for the consumer across any brand. So it becomes an ultimate one-stop shop. So you can make multiple purchases across multiple brands in one place. So, yeah.
I love it.
Been trying to get it going.
I was looking at briefly, and I was telling my daughter, she's only 17, but we have such a heck of a time trying to figure out what's going to look good with what. We're really picky with things. And I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. Look what Kathy made. And we got so excited. So I'm excited. And I also didn't realize that you could take your own clothes from your closet and get advice on some stuff to try out.
Don't wear that with this. It also does it looks at skin tones. So it'll say these colors work well, these patterns work well. So it's really meant to be a cohesive experience for the consumer.
Well, I tell you guys to go check that out, and we will create a way you can do that. But today we're really excited because this new entrepreneur, Breaking Free, is bringing us some questions that she has. She's also super gifted and can tap into a lot of things. And so I'm excited to be able to support you in this. And Kathy, how can I support you today? What are some questions? What's a question that you have that's coming up right now?
Well, for me specifically, I think it's been a complete journey. I had to almost blow up my life to reinvent it. And I've gone through a spiritual awakening that has taken me on this journey where I have understood what I really want to do. What is my purpose? And building this business is really, I think, in my heart, my true purpose. But beyond that, I've developed a lot of different spiritual abilities. Yeah. So I have the sense of smell. I can smell my grandmother all the time in my home. I also just feel things visceral in my body. Like I can sense energy differently, and I'm trying to navigate all of these changes. And my intuition has heightened to a level that I don't know how to even put a cap on it sometimes. There's a lot of telepathy. And so I'm just trying to navigate how to kind of transition into a normal life with these newfound abilities that I'm trying to understand.
Well, all of us need an initiation process, and sometimes they're more radical than others. But and you've shared a little bit of what's really happened with you. But I want to really share. So what's unique with you is you actually are utilizing a lot of senses. A lot of people, when they first come in, or when they've been in it for a while, they have one that works or that they'll acknowledge, or they just get really good at one. Mm-hmm. And so you're coming in with a multitude of ways you're receiving answers and communication. And so that does get very challenging. Yeah. And sometimes you start to wonder if it's me or if it's them or what is it. And I know in some of my processes, it got so overwhelming. I'd be like, I just can't hear you right now. And then I'd like lose my ear from hearing for a little while and be like, oh no, I want to hear.
Yeah.
But I just don't
You
want
just
to
have
hear
to block
them.
it out for a minute. Yeah. Right.
And so that's kind of something that's coming up is how to navigate what you're internally asking for. Mm-hmm. And what you're willing to receive and not receive. You're to a point where you can negotiate.
Okay.
And it's smart to negotiate, especially with the amounts that's coming at you in different ways. And you're mentioning that one grandma comes in through the heart space, and one grandma, you can feel her hugging you, and you can even smell her. And so it's almost like the one that's not the strongest for you, or you're not recognizing, is audible.
Yes.
Right? Hearing. Do you want that?
I do want that because I feel like my intuition is so strong. I feel like I'm being nudged, and I ask out loud for confirmation, and it would be great to receive it and know that it's not me losing my mind. I think when you go through an awakening process, for me, it completely shifted. And it's like, am I going crazy? Like, do I need to be checked into an institution, or is this really happening to me? And I know in my core that it's happening to me.
Yeah.
But going from a person who didn't have these experiences to having it shift overnight has been a radical change. And so for me, I want all of the experience. I feel like my third eye is starting to open. I'm starting to be able to slightly see auras, little things, but I'm not fully able to tap into it yet. And so I'm kind of just bring it on.
Yeah. So you're ready. You're willing to have more ways to connect and communicate.
Yes.
Okay. So what that ends up becoming is like more phones that you got to manage.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just giving you a heads up. So a good way to move into the next development, which is I'm hearing you want to experience hearing more.
Yes.
Correct? Is anytime you recognize, which is why you're moving fast, anytime you acknowledge what is happening, whether it's fully known or not, you saying, oh, I can smell my grandma. Is that you, grandma? And just confirming that.
Yes.
That's how you start to put the building blocks in. And so you have been giving yourself answer, question, confirmation, and naturally building up a foundation. Mm-hmm. That's how you move into the next space. Now, when you start to move into the next space, you have an ability to hear. Mm-hmm. Even deaf people can hear because it's different vibrations of some sort. Sometimes hearing is also hearing a memory in your head.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Tell me what that means to you.
Honestly, like there are a lot of things that trigger me. I feel like I have a lot of deja vu moments where I don't know if it's current time, if it's past time, if it's memory. And there's a lot of things where it's like, I've done this in the past, I need to do this again. So memories actually trigger me to take action pretty regularly.
Yeah. Sometimes you can also hear through the smell.
Yes. I'm feeling that. And it's interesting because I mean, even Brandon, when we're in my house, he walks in, he's like, your grandma's here. I have confirmation. I take a moment and give my thanks and gratitude. But it's nice to just kind of have that validation. And so the hearing for me, I'm very much a logical person. As much as this is a non-logical thing, I'm also a logical person and very analytical. And so it's being able to build those pieces to formulate the overall experience for me to ensure that what I actually feel is validated, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. So an interesting exercise that comes up for you right now is to challenge yourself between if it's real or if it's made up. Okay. And one way that I've figured out to do this with audio. So I would take a table and a pen or something. But I'll just do my hand, slap it on my hand, right? And so what I would do to challenge myself is I would go like this. I would tap my hand and I would receive any information that I possibly could get why I'm hearing this, why I know I can hear my hand. Okay. And so for me, I'd be like, okay, I can hear the clapping of the 3 fingers. Okay, I can hear almost like a mouth kissing. Right. Okay, I can hear it through my left ear more into my nasal cavity. Okay, I can hear it, right?
Right.
Okay, so those are, I'm challenging. Okay, why do I know I can hear this? And what does that mean? And so then I'm going to do a logical, comprehensive, I am not tapping it. I'm just doing the action. So it is what someone would be like, no, you are actually not tapping that, right?
Right.
Okay. So you're challenging yourself and do the same thing. How am I not hearing this? Oh,
I'm actually hearing it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So then if you're actually hearing it, you'd be like, okay, I'm being directed to maybe I'm hearing her bracelet move, not the hand hitting the hand.
Right.
The same way. And you would explore the differences between a provable state versus maybe a not provable.
Okay.
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 And then anchor in whatever you acknowledge and whatever you can hear all the way through. If you notice like I got up saying, oh, it sounds like kissing because I noticed that I was like doing the action. Oh, that's what I mean?
Yeah.
And I could hear the kiss through when I'd like kiss somebody right out my ear as a hearing.
Okay.
So what are you kind of hearing and receiving in that? What does that mean for you?
Honestly, like I see a lot of visuals and then I try to interpret it and talk through it. And then what I say, it's almost like my intuition coming back to me as a validation. I'm not necessarily hearing someone else's perspective. I think I'm in my own head too much, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like when you are not tapping, I could almost hear you tapping. And I don't know if it's because I'm this close to you but I don't know. I'm gonna have to actually really dive into that and practice.
Well, all it is creating a way for you to acknowledge how are you really hearing things.
Okay.
How are you hearing them? Maybe they got it through the physical, and maybe they didn't quite get it through the physical.
Got it.
But you still heard it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to practice that. I'll let you know. Part 2 of this. We'll come back and explore it deeper.
But that's kind of a way to play with hearing.
Okay.
Another way to play with hearing is I deal with density a lot. Density with my sight, density with feeling, density with my hearing.
Okay.
And so with hearing, I practice, who can I hear in town? Right? And then I'll just see what I receive. And maybe I'll get a picture of it. Maybe I'll actually hear them talking. And then at that point, you just kind of explore yourself on how much you believe it or not.
Initially, do you try to write things down to try to interpret them so that you can make sense of it? Or are you just trying to take the experiences, acknowledge it, and then build from it?
I would give yourself some time segments where you're not writing it down, because the second that you start to write it down, you're implementing it into another sense.
Okay.
And that takes a cognitive side that's different than a energetic receiving side.
Got it.
And you're already crossing really good.
That's why
really good.
Okay.
And so if you need to, just know I hear will break it, and then you'll have to tap in again.
Okay.
You can tap in quick or not. But I would, at points, give yourself time to just be in it for a little bit and acknowledge it. When I need to write something down or memorize it or know that I did learn it, right, I create compartments for it. So I would be like, okay, remind me later of this through, oh, I hear the city. Am I really hearing somebody talking in town? And then all of a sudden I'll remember, okay, this was what you did this last time.
Got it. Okay.
So I create like compartments or files that I can actually reach outside of myself to pull back in.
Okay.
And that saves some headspace.
There's a lot going on. This has been the most challenging experience of my life.
It's crazy. Yeah. I mean, you did. You are very vast in the way you receive things. And so if one's not quite working, then you can use the other one. And with any of your gifts, because it is real, it's all real there, even switching your positions will help you receive or not receive.
Okay.
And so notice where your body's maybe asking you to move, and maybe you're holding it in a spot.
Interesting. Okay.
And then that will be kind of like, so for me, my right ear, if I need to really search out far, like over a hill or something like that, I go like this almost.
Tapping into your spidey sense.
Yeah. Yep. And so if you figure out some of your angles, right,
Okay.
too, that will help. But
Okay.
it'll also help protect you because then you can shut things off, right, by just an angle or something.
Yeah. Do you see this coming in for me soon? Because I'm starting to slowly tap into it, but it's not fully there.
Yeah. Well, it is, but you're internalizing and interpreting it as normal hearing.
Yeah.
And your normal hearing is already pretty high. And so for you to compare it to what you think it should be, you're trying to make it even more higher. And that can get scary. I mean, that's when they start like, whoa, right? And you're like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah.
And you're just like,
Yeah.
insane, right? Well,
Yes.
you know,
I have a lot
it.
of spiritual entity experiences where I feel it, but I haven't had any that have spoken to me where I have felt communication, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it does. And part of that too is you do have kind of a shield of protection with you, which can muffle a lot of stuff.
Okay. Yeah,
And
I've had to build up
sometimes-
hyper protection.
Sometimes it also kind of blocks out other good things if you can interpret them as good because they look weird or they hear weird or they represent something that's you're not ready to look at. So ultimately what I'm saying is when you move into these next spaces, the next senses, you're going to be challenging what you already perceive as good or bad or negative or positive or, you know, sensible or not sensible, right? You already have these perceptions and you're going to be moving into a space where you've got to kind of come to an asking of, all right, what is it? Or, okay, show me it. Or, because you're learning what it is for you. That's part of my gift is I get to be a really good reference for people that there aren't really references for.
Right.
And how can you reference yourself? And the only way you really can is ask a very clean, okay, show me what this is. And then you just got to notice. And if you're like, wow.
Do you do it all the time or do you tap into it more in meditation? Are there different techniques that you would use in a meditative state or, you know, is it just a constant? I feel like for me, it's just been constant. It just flows. Like I used to meditate a lot and I still do, but it's more as I'm like going to sleep or having a quiet moment versus I used to just try so hard to tap in. And now it's just like every day for me, which is a different shift from where I was.
Yeah. Well, if you want your gifts to work in functionality with society, then that's where you get to practice too.
Okay.
The meditation is kind of a help place to just reset stuff. So beliefs and perceptions don't just grab a hold of them and halt them somewhere. What did that mean to you?
You know what? You're right, because I've been trying so hard to visualize when I want to speak to, like, let's say my grandmother, Marge. I tap into her probably the most. And it's like I try to visualize her. I try to speak to her. I try to like force the interaction. And other times when I just let it be and I'm going on my day to day, I'm like, wait, was that? You know, I question it. And so I'm trying to decipher the two.
Yeah.
Again, in my head too much, overthinking it and trying to really understand what is this versus that.
Right.
Yeah.
After a while too, sometimes it gets boring.
Yeah. I fall asleep in meditation.
And then, any of it, even
like,
just using the naturalness of the gift and it's working, then you start seeking for the excitement or the wow factor again.
You realize it's not as
and there's
prominent.
there's a mastering point that's just like, you know, that endurance pace where you just keep practicing, and then also you'll have you're ready for the wow now. That's why some people get locked into the drug high because that takes them into a wow state. Or people who've had near-death experiences, they've had the wow state.
Right.
And now it doesn't mean they're back. It means they're still here, but now they've got to figure out how to integrate it in a normal capacity. And that's what you're dealing with a lot of, is you've had a lot of wow factors and holy shit things, right? And now you're merging into an actual functioning of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes clarifying questions. So you get a clean answer back. And if you don't get a clean answer back, then you've got to rephrase the question.
Okay.
If it's like, maybe, I don't know, then you can rephrase it. And you get a clean question, clean answer. And then you can always build it, right? But you're going to have some points where it's like, it's still so exciting, but it's very normal. And so
It doesn't feel normal. Like, I feel like I'm the only one in my family that's really tapped into this side of spirituality. I come from a family that's, religious, very Protestant, and it's very different to them than what I'm experiencing. And so it's hard to decipher the two and speak to people about it unless they've understood that journey.
If there's something that you see or hear that somebody else is doing, then a lot of the times you can do that. And so if that's it, then that's when you ask, okay, how do I do this then? Show me how it is for me. And a good question is this working for me now? Mm-hmm. And if you get a yes or no, you got that. If you get a yes, you say, okay, show me how it's working for me now. And so for me, like with even just sight, if sight's working, if I'm trying to learn my sight, and I notice that for me, if I say that, how's this working for me now? Then all of a sudden I'm staring at the light and my eyes, I see these shaking behind, right? And all of a sudden the movements of what's in the room starts coming around because I looked at the light. Mm-hmm. And so then I go, oh, okay, is it the movements that I'm seeing? Oh, is it, is it a burning sensation? And you can start to absorb and retain what's already happening. Because you're really good with like little nitty gritty fundamental parts and putting it all together. So this is perfect. That's the same way. Yeah. You just gather data and you lock it into muscle memory. Yeah. And then you practice it.
Okay. It's going to be a journey. I'm like, my head's spinning, Ruth.
But you do have to stop once in a while. You do have to give yourself that meditative space. You do have to get out of the noise. You do have to, the electricity nowadays is so insane right now. So you got to find places where the added stimulation can just release so you can understand the truth of what is the sense, what is the communication.
Okay. Yeah. Then the energies have definitely been intense. All these solar flares and all, I follow channels that follow that, and I'm like, wow, I'm feeling that too. It's just interesting as you start to really tap in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So is it Grandma Billy?
Grandma Billy. Yeah. Okay. She is my mom's mother.
She just keeps laughing. She's giggling. She thinks it's really cool.
She does. Okay.
Yeah. She's your heart one?
No, that's my Grandma Marge. So my Grandma Billy is the one that kind of brings the family together. She's the one that always kept our family traditions, wanted everyone, as much as they fought on that side of the family, to all get along. And
I think she kind of thought she'd be a heart person.
She is a heart person too. No, I had a very sentimental experience with her actually the day she passed, and she kind of went into a state where she was no longer speaking, and we had some quiet memories. And every time I hear Frank Sinatra, I think of her. Like, I have memories I really tap into. So she is a heart space, but the feeling, the way I'm getting the feeling through my gifts, I tap more into my Grandma Marge. So I go back and forth for different purposes, but they both are highly loving and support me. I can feel it.
She's funny. She laughs a lot.
She's a jokester.
Did you have a question for her? You didn't really have a question for her,
I just wanted to see if she has any guidance for me, if I'm on the right path. Can she hear me when I'm talking to her? Does she, am I doing the right things? I've been through hell and back in the last few years. And so I tap into it often to just receive guidance. And I just want to kind of get some validation, I think.
Yeah. It's, so she's like, for me, it's kind of like, maybe she should ask Grandma Marge.
Grandma, I did not mean to offend you. Be clear.
I don't know if I really have criteria, like the credentials to be telling her if her life is on the right path or not right now. She's lovely. She's doing great. She's fun for me to watch. You are hearing me. Sometimes she forgets that she is on the other side. Because it's a real interaction for her as well. Okay. And so I think there's a confirmation for me that I would probably, if I have deeper questions, I'd probably ask the other grandma.
Grandma Marge. Yeah. Okay.
So, and she would actually like to talk to you just later.
Okay.
So, come on.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, come on, give something else. Can you pull on Grandpa Frank?
I'm just kidding. No, she would. But And Eleanor is just giving you how it's like nobility rights
Okay.
and integrating them through your DNA and cellular activity and reactivating them and putting things together a lot. So if you feel all of a sudden like really weird shaking inside or cold or hot or like random weirdness through your body, she's helping put coatings in place.
I do all the time. Like I
Okay.
will be ready for bed and my body will just start vibrating like
Okay.
pretty regularly, like almost daily right now.
That's her.
Okay.
At least some of it is, but
Okay.
she's helping with that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so before we end, do you have something for me? Do you have something coming through for me? Give me a nugget.
You know what's, Ruth, you are very heart-centered. I know that we're still getting to know each other, but like just meeting you briefly when we did at the X Room event, I honestly immediately was like, her. I can feel people's energy. And so for you, while I'm not necessarily getting the nuggets of information, your energy is just one of a kind. I don't know how to
Thank
explain
you.
it. So I'm not necessarily getting a message right now. I get the feeling. Like I can feel you vibrating off of me. It makes me want to just, stand in my light and in my sovereignty. So I think you
Very
motivate a lot of
good.
people, and thank you for that.
Thank you too. I like that. It's always nice when I can get information from you guys too. And
I'll try. We'll stay connected. Tap into it more.
well, we may have some part twos coming up with Kathleen and developing gifts.
Yes.
But for right now, we just want to send you guys with a little quick mini recap. And a big thing that I feel like would help you guys watching this, along with everything we talked about, is just clean up your questions and so that you can get a clean answer and then you can build on it even more. Acknowledge what you do recognize is already happening, and that will allow space for more to come to you, to acknowledge more, building blocks. And that's something Kathy's been doing really fast, is acknowledging and putting building blocks together with her gifts and her senses. Good job. Give me a hug.
Thanks.
Ready to move these out of the way? I love you. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. And watch for some more.